Good afternoon, everyone, or good morning, wherever you are. Thanks for being here. This is me, Ari Dossett, Scrum Rashid. I'm here with a new life. I'm an anthropologist and sociologist. And I have a new flip over. It's a flip over whiteboard, so I can make notes on it. My big whiteboard is still in that other room, but thing is, sometimes I don't need the whole big board. I only need a small space. So I thought, why not order this small one over here, which I also use to go outside. If it's very warm, I might go outside sometimes with this flip over and do a live stream outside, just so you know. But for now, can you all hear me clearly? Quite important, let me know. Can you all hear me clearly? It is very important. I wear my vest again. And also, I think it looks good on me also. And it's also symbolic for the influence of the North Star that's increasing right now. And that's why I'm wearing it, just so you know. But anyway, you can all hear me clearly. Okay, that's good. That means I don't have to talk loud or whatever. Okay, the title of this live stream: Logical Thinking versus Practical Thinking. Some of you may say, but Rashid, logical thinking is practical thinking, and practical thinking is logical thinking. No, you're wrong. There's a big difference between logical thinking on one hand and practical thinking at the other hand. All right, I'm going to start using the small whiteboard to explain it to you. But before I do that, I want to say hi to those who are already here in the live chat. See, Sunshine is there. Hey, Sunshine. Hey, Joanna. Hey, Maria Garcia. The rest is here. Let's help you know the live chats do. Thank you very much. And I just want to show you guys. I've been doing some research also lately, and I've been changing the decoration of my desk also. Just want to show that very quickly towards you. I have some maps on the wall also right now. So for now, let's go to the whiteboard, shall we? I'm going to put the camera a little bit closer. Okay, that should do it, I think. All right. Okay, we can start now. First one, okay. Practical versus logical. First of all, let's begin with logic. Logic. We're going to stand like this. You can see it. Hold on. A little bit like this. Logic. Logic is based on a model. That model is based on predictability. So A causes B. B causes C. Let's go on and on and on. All right. So logic works like this. Okay, let me pick on blue. If A causes B and B leads to C, then it's logical to say that A causes, oh my goodness, what the heck? That A causes C indirectly. Hold on. So A causes C indirectly. It's the direct cause, but A causes C indirectly. A causes B directly, and B causes C directly. Between A and C, there's an indirect link with B. So logic would say, if you don't want the outcome C, then prevent A. Why? Because A leads to C. Okay, let me give an example of this, but first let me get a better red stift, because, hold on. let's say A is mass migration. Okay, mass migration is a lot of people just enter the country, a lot of people from foreign cultures. B would be a lot of mixed marriages. For example, a Pakistani with a British woman, or a black woman from Africa with a white man, or a white woman with a black man. Anyway, so we have a lot of mixed marriages. Because it's mass migration, people are exposed to different types of people. So also sexual attraction between different types of people also develop, and people end up being together sexually. Babies are born. So you have mixed marriages going on. That leads to an increase in blending. Cultures blend together. All right. Now, one effect of being a lot of mixed marriages can be a loss of social cohesion. People don't feel at home anymore. All right. So if A, mass migration, leads to a lot of mixed marriages, a lot of mixed children being born, but the increase of this blending of cultures leads to a loss of social cohesion because things are not the same that much anymore. Let's say a lot of people hate this. They do not want this here to happen. Let's see. They don't want C to happen. So then they will say, well, the reason we are lost social cohesion is because we have all these other cultures around here, all those mixed marriages. But then the question is, how come we have all those mixed marriages? Why? Because it's mass migration. So then logic would say, stop mass migration, then you don't have the lost social cohesion. Now, one question to you. Is so the loss of social cohesion always the result of mass migration? Let me know in the live chat. Is the loss of social cohesion always the indirect result of mass migration? Is it always like that? We know that mass migration tends to lead to loss of social cohesion, but is every loss of social cohesion the result of mass migration? Let me know in the live chat. I can see the live chat right over here. Do I need to get closer with this camera? Hold on. I think right now you should be able to see it much, much better. Okay. Question was, is every loss of social cohesion always result in indirect result of mass migration? Let me see what you guys are saying. I got one answer. What else the rest say? More answers coming in. No. The thing is, if someone says they don't want loss of social cohesion, this is the big danger they don't want, that mass migration does contribute to loss of social cohesion, but it's not the only thing. I mean, if people work 9 to 5, from 9 to 5, 40 hours a week, and they're exhausted all the time, means there's less time for actual community activities. That can also lead to loss of social cohesion. So in logic, you look for a model. For example, you have A, B, and C. Now you have A1, B1. Also, this is the 9 to 5. This is the work culture that developed, go to the 9 to 5, and eventually lost social cohesion. Okay? Okay, I didn't read that well, but anyway, A causes B and B causes C. So let's say you have both the 9 to 5 in a country and you have mass migration. So you have two things indirectly causing large societal social cohesion. In logic, it would be okay. The 9 to 5 has a bad effect on social cohesion. We know that. But also mass migration does. So logic would mean, you know what? Then stop mass migration. Then at least we have more social cohesion. But is that correct? No, it's not. Because let's say you would remove mass migration completely and this would be gone. You still have to deal with the 9 to 5 and the work culture that hinders social cohesion. Let's just say, let's get rid of the 9 to 5 and mass migration. That's logical. But is it practical? Okay. So I want you to understand first, logic is when you look at causality. Okay, let me see. In logic, look at causality, what causes what, and what can we do to prevent a certain outcome. The thing is, logic doesn't have to be wrong. Your model may be factual, but is your model practical? Can you apply it? And here's where you come with practical thinking. In practical thinking, you look at the cons versus the pros. Cons versus the pros. And let me sit down and write this quickly for you. That can mean the advantages and the costs. Okay. Let me bring this down a little bit. Let me see the live stream also. So understand the following. Let's take this model now, loss of social cohesion. Someone says we need to stop this, we need to increase social cohesion in the country. What is leading to less social cohesion? You have mass migration. What's the bad effect on it? You have the 9 to 5. Now, stopping mass migration. Okay. Thing is, what are going to be the pros of it? You have more homogeneity in the country. People are more the same. Okay, that can be an advantage. An advantage is you have firm migration policies. Nobody can just enter in and out. You have more predictability. This can be all pros or advantages of stopping mass migration, but also costs. You have a lot of broken families. More people is going to radicalize and become xenophobic. Also, you have a lot of financial losses. Also. So in practical thinking, you check what are the advantages, what are the disadvantages of doing this. And in practical thinking, you have like a scale. Let's say there's a scale over here. And you look at the costs. Or the costs. And these are the benefits. You're looking for some balance. So that's how it works in practical thinking. Now, let's take the logical thinking concerning what to do about the loss of social cohesion. And let's deal with it from a practical point of view. Let's say you say mass migration has an indirect negative effect on social cohesion. In this case, you would say get rid of mass migration. Now, we listed the pros over here. Okay? Also, one thing is people feel in control. They're not in control, but they feel like they're in control. So, you have the pros. But you also have a lot of costs to come with it, a lot of bad effects too. If the costs outweigh the benefits, then it's not practical nor desirable to get rid of mass migration. Because the costs will not be worth it because the benefits are few. But if the benefits outweigh the costs, now it's desirable and now it's practical to do it. Individuals, so single human beings, often think in logic. Groups of people tend to have emotional logic. So it's not really logic, but they're more emotional about the causality. Governments and corporations or organizations in general tend to look at the practicality. Is this worth it, and is this going to be sustainable? You, in practical thinking, you want a balance. Let's look at the following: sustainability. So understand this. In logical thinking, causality is the main thing. In practical thinking, it's sustainability. And so logic talks about the how to get to an outcome. Question is how. It's the outcome. Practical is you ask question, should we? So how we can see this clearly on the on the screen over there. Logic is about causality. How do we get an outcome? Or how do we prevent an outcome? That's logic. Practicality looks at, should we even want this outcome? Is the difference clear for you? Let me know in the live chat. Let me know. Is this difference clear to you? Let me see what you're writing in the live chat. Okay. The reason why, okay, let me write this out because I don't need this anymore. The reason why I'm explaining the difference between practical thinking and logical thinking is because too many believers tend to be stuck in logical thinking and they forget to be practical. I can give you another example of how some courthouses decline logic and think from practicality. Okay, let me sit down next to the whiteboard. Okay, it's going to be close. Okay, that's good. Okay, let's say now you have John. John was convicted to 15 years prison for manslaughter. All right. That's what he has been convicted of. But now, John always claimed he was innocent. But to the public, he's guilty because he got convicted. 10 years in his prison sentence. DNA proves he's innocent. Now, he's innocent. So that means this verdict has to be overturned. So let's say John was convicted in 2000. Hold on. Oh, here's something. Let's say John was convicted in 2009. Okay? 10 years later, 2019. He's proven innocent. Here was the guilty verdict. That's a decade. Now, logic would say the man is innocent. Okay? He didn't commit the crime. He was even there. DNA doesn't match. So he should be released from prison. And his criminal record must be deleted. Question to you. Will logic benefit John? There's one question to you. Will logic benefit John in this case? Let me know in the live chat. Let me know what you think. I have the tablet with the live chat right over here. Will logic benefit John, who's been wrongly convicted? I'll just wait to see what your answer will be. Hold on. Hold on. One individual said, I don't know. What does the rest say? Okay. Now, logic will lead to John being released from prison, deletion of his criminal record. They will start anew. Logic for the courthouse or the criminal justice system would mean loss of reputation. It would mean, because they convicted a man that was innocent, it will also mean less trust from the public. It will lead to more questioning of convictions. And for society, it will be a scandal. Something they want to keep hidden. So in this case, the logic is beneficial for John, of course, because he has been in prison for 10 years, and finally now he can be out of prison. For John, it's a benefit. But for the criminal justice system and society, it's going to be a loss. Now, let's take up practicality. All those losses, who has to deal with them? The public. The public will have to deal with all those losses. Will the public want to put up those losses? Well, answer is no, they don't. What if the public has to deal with all these losses? It will lead to resentment and rage in the community. And that is going to lead to increasing damage. So in this case, the logic does give a benefit to John, but at the same time, that same benefit will expose how dirty and rotten the system is and how neglectful the public is. I mean, a bit downwards. So, logic here is logical. John should be released from prison, criminal records deleted, all of that. But John's case itself is a damage. They damaged this man's life. Hold on. I didn't click that. Hold on. They damaged this man's life by putting him in prison. They destroyed his social relationships. His wife moved on. His children moved on with life. He missed out on years with his children. He missed out on opportunities in the community. And if so, this damage done. And what did the damage society did? Through its institutions. Can society give him back those 10 years? No. Can society restore those relationships? No. So John will have to deal with the loss of 10 years. But society now has to deal with the embarrassment that he damaged someone. So everyone else in society is going to think, what happened to John O'Dwyer can also happen to me. So people's willingness to participate in society will decrease. So you're going to have more conflicts, more incidents. So practically speaking, for the courthouse to act on logic, there will be increasing damage in the community. So the courthouse will either dismiss the case or they will cover it up. Now, is dismissing covering up the right thing to do? No, it's wrong. But it's a practical thing to do because the courthouse doesn't have the capacity nor the resources to deal with increased damage in the community. All right? Now, this is practical thinking. You look at the costs and benefits, you do a calculation to figure out, is a decision worth it? That's practicality. Logic is A leads to B leads to C, or 1 + 1 is 2. That's logic. In practicality, is okay, 1 + 1 is 2. Do we want it to? It's too desirable. That's practicality. The question asks, will logic benefit John? It will, if John leaves that community. If John stays in the same community, everyone will insist he's guilty because nobody wants to hear that the criminal justice system made a mistake. Such a costly mistake that can't be repaired. Nobody wants to realize that, hold on a minute, I could be in prison doing something I didn't do. I could be hunted down too. Society can turn on me too when they're upset. Nobody wants to face this about people around them. So John has to leave that community once he's released from prison. Because if John stays in that community and starts their life in the same community, that community is going to be confronted on a daily basis of what they did to John. If the young generation who wasn't there with John was being convicted, will turn against John. So logic can work on your behalf, but logic has to be practical too. So having the logic about situation is good. 1 + 1 = 2. A plus B leads to C. All that is logic. But logic in itself doesn't guarantee good outcomes. Logic doesn't guarantee good outcomes. It doesn't. For example, let's say you have an employer where you work at. You work somewhere you have an employer. An employer is narcissistic. Now, this guy's bad behavior should be addressed. 1 + 1 is 2. So logically speaking, you should address this man's behavior, saying, sir, I don't accept this behavior, or sir, this is unacceptable. Practically speaking, if you confront this guy with his bad behavior, he's the employer, so he's a leverage over you. That means if he's triggered in a negative way, he can misuse leverage over you. The leverage is financial because you need a job to pay rent. So because there's a leverage over you, and you're confronting him about his bad behavior, the costs are going to be higher than the benefits. So it's not a practical thing to confront your employer who's narcissistic. It is logical to do so because his behavior is off, but it's not practical to do so. The thing with other believers is they hold on to logic and insist on logic, but Jesus taught us, forget about logic. See what is practical in the situation. And you know what? Pagans are all about being practical. Now, I'm not saying pagans don't look at logic. Of course they do. But pagans realize logic that cannot be applied in reality is useless. For example, you can have an attitude towards something that's correct. But if that attitude doesn't help you in daily life, I'm sorry, but what's the use of it? That's why Jesus taught us to shake dust off our feet. It is logical to confront bad people and to remind them that they owe the public, the public something. But it's not practical to do so because you may trigger people to hate you and come after you. You're waking up sleeping dogs, figuratively speaking. Now, literally waking up sleeping dogs can lead to dangerous situations. So figuratively speaking, when you wake up sleeping dogs, it simply means that you are awakening a conflict that you could have avoided. So am I saying that logic by itself is wrong? No, logic can be good, can be of quality to use in daily life. But you have to learn to be practical more. Too many people are so logical that they're not practical. If you're very logical, but you're not practical, means that you're still backwards. Some people barely have logic, but they're practical. For example, someone may lack natural intelligence. Someone can be mentally slow. But if they're practical in how they do things in daily life, they will outshine someone that's very logical. So logic is not the answer to life's difficulties. Logic can assist you in analyzing and figuring out what goes on. But you have to be practical when you do something about the situation. It is clear to you now what the purpose of logic is and what the purpose is of being practical. Is that difference clear to you? Let me know in the live chat. Let me know, please. Let me know. Okay, is this clear to the rest also? Okay, that's good. So, I want you, believer, to be more practical than logical. You should use logic. Logic is a tool you use in daily life. Logic should not be your lifestyle. If logic is your lifestyle, you become mentally ill, or you end up mentally deranged at some point. Because logic alone will not benefit you in life if you're not practical. You can say, oh, a 9 to 5 is like slavery. You're always exhausted all the time. You better have time for yourself, blah, blah, blah. Okay, you can say that. But do you have another source of income? Or no, you don't? Or do you have another source of income that's illegal? Because some people have a source of income, but it's illegal. So it can be used against them. Do you have a source of income that cannot be used against you easily? No, you don't. So is it practical then to complain about the 9 to 5? No. You put up with the 9 to 5 till you find better. That is practical. But to say 95 slavery, I don't want to do it, that's logical. But to say, I don't want to be a wage slave, so F it, but you don't have any other solution in place, that's unpractical, that's stupidity. So just because your logic is correct doesn't mean that you are right. You can have correct logic and still be wrong. If your logic is correct, but you don't have any practicality, then you're so wrong. So Christ wants us to be practical so that we can get things done here on earth. Too many believers are so stuck in logic that they miss out on the practical. Without the practical, you can't take advantage of opportunities. Without the practical, you cannot have solutions. Without the practical, you can't break through. Without the practical, you have no life in abundance. You need to be practical to break through demonic barriers. You need to be practical to shut down violence. So, in daily life, when you encounter a situation that's a bit difficult, of course, it's smart to be logical about it, but don't just be logical, also be practical about it. What can we do? And what we do, is the benefits going to outweigh the costs? There are going to be costs anyway, but can we afford and justify the cost by the benefits that remain? If the benefits will overwhelm and take over the cost, then you can justify the cost. But if the costs are going to be more, if the costs will weigh out more than the actual benefit, that means that you cannot justify the benefits. We need to learn to be practical. That's why I want to make this live stream so you understand the difference between practical thinking and logical thinking. Both are good in the right context. However, practicality wins at the end of the day. Absolutely. So, let me wipe this out. Okay. A blank whiteboard again. So, do you have any questions about this topic of practical thinking and logical thinking? If any questions about it, let me know now. Thank you very much. Let me camera over here. Okay, that's good. Any questions about it, let me know. I can see a question over here on the tablet. Mhm. Hold on. I didn't see any questions yet. I'll just wait till I get some. I won't wait that long, but let me see if there are any questions here. Any questions about this topic? Logical thinking and practical thinking. I'm gonna wait for 1 more minute. If I get no question, 1 minute, I'll close on the live stream. I'm gonna give people the proper opportunity to ask questions. Amen. God is good. I just want you all to understand. Being practical will keep you alive. Being practical will make you survive. Being practical means you're more likely to find a solution. If you're just logical, which is not practical, I'm sorry, but you think you're at the right track, but you're actually going downwards. Simple as that. That is good. Okay, let me highlight this question, please, for a moment. All right, I've highlighted the question, and it's Theron Butterfield asks, how do we know when we have gone too far in logical thinking in situations? When you've gone too far in being logical, you lose your natural flexibility that you created with. We as human beings, we have natural flexibility, which we need in daily life. For example, you want to go to work with your car breaks down, now you need to take a bus. If you keep insisting going to work with your car until your car is broken, I'm sorry, you're being logical, but you're not practical. So that means now you're stuck in a situation. Or let's say now you have police officers want to arrest a criminal because the criminal broke the law. But the prosecutor and the judge don't want the police to arrest this man because the police thinking in a logical way, we need to arrest this guy, he broke the law. The judge and prosecutor thinks, okay, he broke the law. But if you prosecute this case, the exposure of this case will lead to more bad consequences in the community. So the police tends to go very far at being logical. This guy needs to be arrested. The judge and the prosecutor think, okay, but is it worth it to prosecute this individual and have him arrested? So it's about being flexible. If you are still psychologically flexible in how you approach things in life, that's healthy. The moment you become static, clinging onto specific outcomes, you begin to fall apart. Simple as that. Now, then you can always watch the replay, it's not a problem. Let me see if there are any other questions here. Hold on. All right. I haven't seen any other questions. Let me see. No. But anyway, thank you all for being here. I hope you enjoyed the Shabbat very well. Keep agreeing with Christ. Hold on. My bad, another question over here. About courthouse, all of that. Many of them are warlocks, okay? And warlocks tend to be practical anyway. If they're not warlocks or witches, they tend to be practical worldly people. But practical worldly people without paranormal covers don't get very far. So most of them are warlocks and witches indeed. Okay. But anyway, thank you all for being here. Keep agreeing with Christ. Be at peace, and I'll see you next time. Shalom. God is good all of the time.